road with a grand vista of the southern edge of Airedale for the purpose of watching the eclipse. So what we have so far, we are 8 finger spans above the horizon, and we are, let's say, 15 degrees from where I expect sunset to be. Call it 20. Either way, let's have a look at our equipment. So we've got let's switch to view here. So we have a piece of cardboard with a small pinhole and an adjustable larger pinhole. We have a screen on which we can project, and we have a colander so I don't strain my eyes. Badumtish. Right, so let's see how we are so far. Let's try with the small pinhole. So, I tell you what, why don't I switch hands so I can hold the camera better. Right, so I'm going to do that. Right, so let's project the small image and try and get it. Well, this looks like 50% coverage right now. Look at the shape of that. We'll compare it. Yadira! Hi, Yadira! Right, yeah, so let's compare that with the multi-hole. If we hold it in the right place, see that? Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a quarter coverage. We're going to be reaching 90% coverage at this latitude. But yeah, we're already getting a park crescent. Let's compare again with the small pinhole. So, small pinhole. Okay, maybe that pinhole isn't... I think we need to adjust that small pinhole, but let's do that. Let's come back to me. Hi there. Yes. Do not, I repeat, do not, even if you've got sunglasses, try to look directly at the sun. We're going to expand the hole to see if we get a better picture. So where we were, he says. So we've expanded that hole slightly. See that? Yeah. So what we're going to do, back again, he says, being technical, and we're going to flip so we can see the screen here. And we're going to hold up the screen to see if we can get a better picture here. No, I think that is too... I think that hole is too big to get a better focus. The thing is about a smaller hole, it brings it closer to the properties of a lens, such that the light passes pretty much closer to the exact middle. But anyway, well, I'll compare with the very much smaller holes that we get with the colander. Again, if I hold it at an appropriate distance, we can see, rather than circles coming through the colander, we are getting, well, I think we're approaching 50% coverage there. The shadow off of the shadow cast by the moon, so to speak, getting in the way. definitely curved on that edge. So yeah, as the light diminishes, we will be getting a better focus, and I may need to use the larger pinhole. Let's try with one folded back piece on the larger pinhole to see how that is. That no, let's take a finger through that so it doesn't interrupt. That's still too big, isn't it? Yeah. But the better, as the light diminishes, then a larger pinhole will give us a better picture. But that's still too large with this amount of light. Let's show you on the small amount on the really minuscule. Let's hold that up. So this is going to be really small. Oh yeah. We can definitely see the crescent shape there. Definitely see that crescent. Let's compare again with the definitely circular and smaller holes. Hi Rosina. Hi. I'll tell you what, I'll switch back so I can say hi. Hi Rosina. So yeah, we're doing a bit of amateur astrology here. Let's flip back so we can now see. Let's compare and contrast with the definitely circular holes showing on coming from through the colander. Yeah, we've definitely got a rounded cut-off. Let's see. Current time, he says. Hang on. Let's flip back, and we can find. Right. So currently reading, coming up 20 to 7. Now we know the eclipse finishes about 2100, which is 9 o'clock in the evening, which is approaching 2 hours 20 minutes from now. Not sure how long I'll be on. Maybe, let's see. So part way between. Let's see if it started at 6:15, 9:15. So half or 1.5 hours. So 1.5 hours after 6:15 is going to be 7:45. So anticipating about another 55 minutes before we reach the fullest eclipse. But we'll see what we shall see. I wonder, he says, can I prop up things to give you a direct view without having to touch the camera? I need a proper stand, don't I? But anyway, let's compare and contrast both current sizes of pinholes. Yeah, now the smaller pinhole is giving the more focused picture like that, you see. That still needs to be, that's still over large, is that hole. But I don't believe we need to expand it just at the moment. Okay. Can I, he says, stand it up such that it will take a view without me having to hold it to see what we shall see. if I move it there, is that going to prop up? Well, now then, if I put a little prop here, is that going to fall over? Is that going to fall over? Right. Let's try that, so I don't even have to touch it. Let's hold that further out. Are we getting a good view there? Are we getting that shape? The crescent. So we've been going, what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes out of hour and a half. Yeah. So yeah, this is where we are right now. It is a partial. Other places on the globe will have total, such that the moon is far enough away from us such that the angle taken up by the moon better fits the angle taken up by the sun. If the moon were closer to us in its orbit, we would still be able to see a ring around the edge, what they call a annular, from the Latin annulus, annus meaning ring. You'll see that in other Roman stolen words. But yeah, I think we've got a good idea of that crescent, how much occlusion we have. Yeah. So yeah, brief history lesson. So yeah, the last time a total eclipse happened anywhere close to us here, 1999. But like I say, we only got the edge for a penumbra, and yeah, the clouds were occluding the sun like before and after, so it was possible without much risk to look directly at it. But even though I have sunglasses for when it dims even more, we are urging viewers not to look directly at it. Let's see. Let's take that on. I tell you what, if I show you, then you'll get a better idea. So, occlusion there. Yeah. Yeah, obviously the orbit of the moon is not a exact fit with the orbit of the Earth around the sun, and is a little more than 23 degrees off the equator, what they call the elliptical plane. So yeah, the straight line you see in the sky, the Milky Way, is at an angle because we are not orbiting with north, directly north of the sun's north, because we got hit with a big ball of flaming rocks about the size of Mars, and it kind of made a mess, which is now the moon. Yeah, brief with rule of thumb here, and I say rule of thumb such that if you hold your thumb up, arm's length fully extended, your thumbnail will very accurately cover the disk of the sun and the disk of the moon, because they are both taking up the same optical angle. Yes, it's quite a coincidence. 500 times further away and 500 times the diameter. Says me not believing in coincidences, but here we are anyway. It's time for another look what we're at. Yeah. Good view there. Yeah, that is clearly not the full disc as you would expect from just a circular hole. The holes are small enough and the light bright enough to be able to get a image of a crescent. You know, we're still only what, a third covered, if that. But nevertheless. No, even with glasses I'm still not going to look directly at it. Let's compare, he says. Let's prop her up again. Are you going to behave if I prop you up like that? Now let's prop you up like that. Are you going to behave? You behaving? You behaving? You're behaving. Right. So we shall try again. Really small hole. Yeah, really small hole. That one is way too big. It really is. Where are we? Can't see what you're seeing. Obviously my eyes are better so I can see it, but the human eye is very much better than the camera on a phone, even with. But anyway, oh I got a slight, oh I see, there's a little gap in the cardboard for ready when I make the hole bigger, which is acting as its own pinhole. So that's why you've got two images there. Obviously that is going to be still way too big. We're not getting a good image off of that at all. Compare with the colander again. Yeah, maybe we've reached a third. Maybe. Still too bright to look at even through sunglasses. Here's the thing. The sun, here's a bit of trivia for you. Where are we? Yeah, there you are. Yeah, so the sun is so bright, so light that hits the moon and reflects back to Earth is occasionally bright enough to read by during a full moon. Now, what colour would you say is moonlight? White? Tint yellow? Sound familiar? What colour would you say the moon is? They bus comes past. So yeah, the moon, would you believe, is approximately this colour. only darker, such that the light hitting the moon from the sun is that bright. We don't get a colour distinction that strong when the reflected light off the moon hits the earth again. Oh, aye, bus reversing. Why? Somebody trying to get through. That 3 buses trying to get through the same small street. Either that or somebody tried smoking on the bus, badum-tish. What do we like? So, approaching 5 to 7. Yeah, this is many small buses attempting to navigate the same tight corner that you can tell were not built for the purposes of buses of that size. But anyway. So yeah, the light reflected off of the moon, because the sun is so bright, makes what we measure when we bring it back to Earth as black as coal, pretty much, as being bright as, well, cheddar cheese. But of course the reflected sunlight comes in through our atmosphere and gets tinged away from the white mix, tinges it slightly yellow because it's coming through the atmosphere. Sound familiar? And if you get a lot of atmosphere, it looks red. This is also the reason for when the eclipse is the other way around. So when Earth is between moon and sun, the light that gets refracted onto the moon is coming through thick layers of Earth atmosphere, which by means of dispersing the blue end, it leaves only the red end of the spectrum to hit the moon and then get reflected back here. But anyway, what do we like? Let's have another, just because we can. Press the button. And focus. What would you say? Is that approaching 50? Approaching 50%, but not quite there yet. Here's the thing: unless it's a clearly defined shadow of the, unless it's a clearly defined line, it's difficult to pick out exactly what half is. I'd say we were approaching half, but are not quite there just yet. But anyway. What's it look like without the no, not quite yet. I tell you what, I shall prop you up and we'll see who else is here. Oh, they all went. Enough. But anyway, we shall continue. Let's prop you up so you can see. Some might call it the greatest show on earth, but then maybe not. Now that he says fishing in his pocket, if I haven't got a spare, I shall be most upset. Oh dear. I hope beyond hope that I put it into the other pocket, because if not, that'll make me upset. No. Ah, has that got any hin? No, it don't. No, that's a failure. In the words of Mork from Ork, Shadbat. What we can do, if I try to show you the view across the valley, let's see. Yeah, so about there, centre screen is where sunset will happen. I'm not going to burn out my camera by pointing my camera directly at the sun, but yeah, we've lined up about there-ish. So we are showing you below the elevation of the sun, and the sun has got that amount of angle to traverse before sunset. And about there is going to be where the eclipse stops. But anyway, we'll be going half an hour. Let's flip back. Let's go on to the... Where's the little doobrey? Here's the doobrey. No, not you, not you, not you, not you. Where's the little doobrey for me to do the... There, that's the button. Let's switch to all and see who's here. Not a lot. Right, so we are currently just before 700. Correction, just before 1900, which is 7 p.m. And we've been going approaching half an hour. Coming to a minute short of half an hour. Yeah, okay, what does the colander look like? Oh, that's even better. That's even better right now. Let's show you this. Let's show you this. So yeah, I think we have indeed exceeded 50% coverage. So 50% coverage, and what did we say, 7 o'clock? So that's 45 minutes we have achieved 50% coverage-ish. Now we do know it's never going to reach 100%. The best we're going to get here is 90. Okay, let's see what it looks like on the pinholes. Is that pinhole too big? Let's close down that pinhole to make it really. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, ignore the big one. Ignore the big one. But look at the shape of that. Yeah, from that, I would say 50% coverage. But still, he says, checking. Still too bright to look at directly, even with sunglasses, so we're not going to do that. Let's bring in the colander again. Yeah, you see that? So yes. See, even at 50%, we're not going to look directly. So yes. So for those of you just joining us who've not met me before, hi. The head of the herd was calling far, far away. Yeah, so hi, this is Shut Up Matt, aka Duke of Many Things. Yeah, usually you find me talking about dice, D&D, candles, any sorts of Yorkshire trivia. But yeah, today we are at the summit of a small hill in Airedale, West Yorkshire, for the purpose of making a recording of the partial eclipse. Like I say, it's going to reach 90% at the greatest amount of coverage. Going on what we've just had a look at, the image shows us, I would say it's exceeded 50% right now. Yeah, so if you like dice, if you like D&D, if you like Yorkshire trivia, like, subscribe and all of that engagement type stuff. Well, let's return to our current viewing of the eclipse on screen. Okay, the small pinhole. Hold that up. Hold that up. Oh. Yes, having held up my pinhole card with a finger through the larger hole, there is some slight light coming through the larger hole, which is creating its own image. That one there. Yeah, that's the one going through the... Right, so. Oh, got two images coming through holes next to my finger. Obviously the larger one is the larger pinhole. Obviously those holes are not exactly circular, even if they're small. Let's compare with exactly round holes again. Yeah, I think we've definitely exceeded 50% coverage there. Yeah, as I mentioned, during the course of the last solar eclipse that happened hereabouts and we had lots of cloud cover, 1999, so people were able to look directly at because they were shielded by the overcast skies. They were still able, by means of the cardboard equipment they put together, to be able to get an image of the sun being eclipsed, card and pinhole, exactly as I have. But yeah, from here, let's flip that. Yeah, I'm not going to look directly at it. Let's see, let's line up. So we're about just above the camera there. I'm not pointing it directly at because I don't want to burn up my camera. So we're currently there. Sunset will eventually be here. But like I say, I think we've got a good panorama. We are appropriately high elevated to be able to get a good view and a good image. You know, let's come back here again. So, what we got? So, perfectly round holes that give out not round image. What would you say? Approaching 2/3 coverage, would you say? No. It's because we've got diminished light, the image is less sharp. So this is where I would need to use an actual small pinhole to get the sharper image. The sharper image like that. Hang on. Yeah, let's move this so we can see and not. Yes, ignore the cross. That is just where the big adjustable hole is, as opposed to the small pinhole. Yeah, so small pinhole, better image. Because we can get technical here. Yeah, what we're looking at. No, still too bright to look at directly, but nevertheless diminished. And we can tell that by the less light making a less sharp image using the precisely round hole in the column. As you can see here, fuzzy image because less light. But no, yeah, so we are at coming up to 40 minutes in. Correction, 40 minutes of broadcast approaching, and we're approaching 1 hour of the eclipse in progress. And I would say we are. Yeah, I need a smaller pinhole to give you a better picture of what sort of coverage. Yeah, I would say that's greater than 50% coverage, possibly approaching 2/3. It's definitely dimming. Which will be a blessing for those of us who are suffering in the heat. Deep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. If I hold it out, is that a sharper image? Is that a sharper image? Right, that does it. That does it. I'm gonna have to. I'm taking my sunglasses. Warning, warning! I'm taking off my sunglasses. I've now taken off my sunglasses so I can better inspect the image coming through the colander. I will still refrain from okay, so too close and it looks like a circle. Gets blurry, 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 blurry. Ah, that is a better image with the pinholes very much further away. How's about that? Perfectly circular holes in the colander, giving a crescent image. This is where we quickly move or zoom, badumtish, back to, okay. So, close to the screen, circular holes, circular image. Move out, blurry, 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 blurry. We get to an appropriate point. Clear image. What do you think? Gone past 2/3, you think? Gone past 2/3? Yeah, past 2/3, and we're currently coming up to 45 minutes of broadcast. Ah, Yadira's back. Hi, Yadira. I'll say hi to you in person. Yadira, Yadira. Come away to studies. Yeah, so approaching the limit of where I can look at it directly without sunglasses on. Let's see what happens if I put sunglasses on. Look, yeah, still not good. But yeah, the image we get, he says, let's flip back because we can. See, this is me being all technical. Show you this again. So close in, circular image. We'll zoom out. Blurry image, blurry image, blurry image. Clear image. I think we might be approaching 3/4 cover. So 75% reached after 3/4 of an hour coverage. Yeah. I mean, the small pinhole is going to be, yeah, very much fainter image, but you get the general idea. Even when the pinhole is not a exact circle, if the pinhole is appropriately small, you can get a clear-ish image projected onto the screen. Just because we can, we will switch back. Okay, zoom in. zoom out. Zoom in. Zoom out. For those of you doing the maths, I am 5'9" in height. So nose to fingertip is going to be, let's see, call it 5'10", so 60, 70 inches. Yeah, so nose to fingertip is going to be 35 inches. Let's see, my hand is, call it 8 inches. So with the colander being 28 inches away from my nose, and the screen being a further 1.5 feet, so what, 18 inches? And that sort of definition. That sort of so even with that smaller hole, you can get an image projected onto your screen. Because there are some people interested in the maths. I'm conscious of it. But no, what we're looking at now. So approaching 7:20, 1918 hours. What we've got here maybe 70%, 80% coverage, and we've got another 10 minutes before we reach the full 90, after which the coverage will begin diminishing again. So in about another 10 minutes, I may well be able to look directly at the sun, but don't hold your breath. So that's currently. Oh, I don't want to point directly at the sun, do I? Yeah, so we are currently there pretty much. Sunset is going to be there. The eclipse is going to finish about there. But between there and there, the sun, as well as covering and uncovering, will descend towards the horizon. So let's do a quick he says, reaching for his other device. Oh, wake up, will ya? Yes, I'm on my other device right now. I'll see what I can do here instead. Well, I think we have seen the greatest amount of eclipse. If I'm right, we should get a believe that's coming back again. Yeah. Well, I think that's us done for the evening. We've seen 90% eclipse. Well, I'm happy with the footage we've got. Oh. You want to see the shape of the eclipse?
Sorry?
You want to see the shape of the eclipse?
When is the eclipse?
Right now. See, perfectly round holes?
Yeah.
Oh!
That's pretty cool. Oh, what? I never knew you could do that.
It's like fish skin, isn't it?
We've just gone past 90% coverage. Still not safe enough to look at directly, even with something like a welding mask might do you. But yeah, so
I don't have a welding mask, unfortunately.
that right there is coming through the really small holes here.
I never knew you could even do that. Huh.
The magic of optics.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
It's important to use a colander so you don't strain your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strain colander, never mind.
Yeah,
The colander is what you strain vegetables with, and strain is hurting your eyes.
Oh,
So
yeah, I know.
don't strain your eyes.
Yeah, I get it. I'm a bit slow.
Where are you from?
From Bingley.
From
Bingley.
You are from Bingley,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm from Bingley. Yeah.
Yeah, the accent is throwing me off a bit.
Oh, see, everyone says that.
No,
no one thinks I'm from here. No one even thinks I'm from Yorkshire.
Well, there is that. But anyway, no comment. See ya. So I believe we can pack up our gear here and we turn back to home base. Thank you for everybody watching, and as I say, Alia Jacta Est.